Thank you, Angel. And I must apologise to you, Angel, that I didn't apologise to you yesterday, personally anyway. I did to everybody else, including the person who comes later, and uh, and forgot to apologise to you for my tardiness. My sincere apologies. How on earth would we survive without Angel? I don't know, but I'll bet she was going SH1T. There's nobody here. Are they coming? What are they doing? All right. G'day, guys. Tuesday. And I can't get into the week. I just can't get into the week for whatever reason. Hi, John. Hi, Angel. Hi, Angel. I said hello to Angel. You're there twice. Wonderful. Pound trade. No, I don't think so. Wow, it would have been nice to be on the right side of the pound yesterday, would it not? But that was the candle that we had to trade. So actually, we would have been okay because that's the hourly bar, yes. Gee whiz. What happens if you become discriminate, eh? Sometimes. We would have been short under that bar, wouldn't we? Yeah, so we wouldn't have got triggered short and we would have got all of that. And we would be out of the trade now there. Let me see how much that was worth. I'm not trading today, mind you. Okay, so risk would have been that candle there. 26 pips. And where did I say out? Out was there for 110-ish. So 3.5 to 1. 3.75 to 1. We'll get it right. Eventually we'll get it right. Yeah, look, John, pound looks like it just went yesterday. I had a look at the dollar index earlier, and I can't show you the dollar index because I'm now a paying member of that, and I have it on another computer, which doesn't allow me to put it on this computer. Go figure. I can do it for free, but I can't do it for money. Well, and I haven't yet placed a trade on the bloody thing because I haven't had time to even work out how to use it. But anyway, it looks very bearish. It was at a support level yesterday, as I said, as I think I said, and it just smashed through that and now has got a very, very bearish look about it once again. That said, once again, we're at a support level, which of course is the whole number 91. What do we do with the pound and what do we do with the dollar? Yeah, look, the pound. It's that weak resistance, isn't it? If it gets through there. Wow, it's got some work to do there, though, hasn't it? How far away is that? 200 pips. I've got a feeling that we might even have another look at that. That's the weekly chart, monthly chart going big base. This will be the first higher high. Or that's the first higher high. No retracement back to here. That would concern me. That would concern me. That's screaming, come back and have a look at me, to me. And it hasn't done so. But stranger things. Hi, Paul P. Ultimately, though, you know, the biggest thing on this chart, and I'm not sure how long I've been saying this, but the most dominant feature on this chart is very, very, very clear. Why haven't I got my plus minuses things? That's weird. They're hiding. Oh, here they are over here. Right. So the most dominant feature on this chart is definitely this double bottom. We've had one look at that level, and now it looks like we're going to have another look at that level. Will it burst through here? That level, of course, I'm talking about is not the one I've just put on the chart. It's there. So we have had a look at it, kind of. I think we're probably headed there again. That's the point of interest to me, what happens there. Haven't seen a significant higher low based on these. So I think I'll be willing to trade pound US dollar short once it gets to here, but I'm not sure where the dollar is going to find support. Maybe at 91, which is where it is at the moment. Interesting. Very interesting. Lower high here becomes interesting. That's the monthly chart, of course. Okay, I've now got a little bit of an idea of what to do with the pound. Should this on the weekly chart be a high test bar, I think I'd get interested in that. Daily bar. Yeah, I'd like to see back and then one lower high on the daily before I went short. And the 4 hour will probably be exactly the same. So I'm not sure if there's much gas left in the tank here, guys. I do see this high up here, and I want to have a look at it, but gee whiz, it's going to be a big move. Not that that's impossible on pound US dollar. Not at all. It's entirely possible, but gee whiz, it's got a bit of work to do, hasn't it? I like it. I like the short side. Looking for lower highs, guys, on pretty much any time frame. Weekly would be sensational. That would be a really good one. The daily, yeah, I've got to see a pullback, then a failed high. So I need to see a lower high on the daily before I would consider that. And the 4 hour, this is pretty clear also. There's a level through here. I think it's probably the one that I had on before. That level there, which is what, 139, the figure pretty much. If we came down to there, bounced and got the lower high, yeah. Okay, there we go. We've just established a bias on the pound. Now I did, wow, it must be a week for apologies. Again, I apologize to those of you who are TTR followers, and of course the preview that I put in the Telegram group each day. It was one of those mornings. I was locked out of Zoom and I couldn't get in there. This big W seems to have that cycle there. That's completed. Gee, I'm liking this for the downside, guys. Lower highs. Sorry. So yeah, I wasn't able to record this morning, but I did put my thoughts into the Telegram group, and they were pretty much everything that we've already discussed for the week in terms of my watch list. But now there's one more, and you'll recall, of course, that we have been looking at Euro. That's Euro Kiwi. So I've got the wrong cross. We have been looking at Euro Kiwi, and I'm keen to keep looking at that. Euro Swissy, I'm kind of on the roundabout with this one. What I saw on the weekly chart is not what I'm seeing on the daily chart, and that's not unusual, of course. That does happen, and really, I think that's where everything's failing me at the moment. There is no time frame correlation that I'm seeing. In fact, I'm seeing different scenarios play out on the different time frames, and that becomes very confusing. This one is pretty much one of those where, to me, it's crystal clear. It's pretty much where price is actually. Let me go a little bit wider. To me, it's crystal clear that, pick this up, there you go, that level there is key. I think there's another one over here somewhere as well. Yeah, look, it's got plenty of form through here. The market's bounced off it many, many times, both as support and resistance. So when I look at that, I'm thinking downside. And when I look at the smaller time frames, I can totally see this channel off which we have bounced, the bottom of which we have bounced from. And for that reason, I'm a little bit confused. We do have a higher low here, and we have not reached the top since we bounced off the bottom. So that's kind of my thing, right? And I'd be looking for that to go to the top. If it fails, however, then I think we're in with a big show of getting this weekly order, which is this one playing. Hang on a minute. Euro Swissy. Oh, yeah. We did trade this yesterday, so I'm not really telling you too much. This weekly bar is telling me false break of this level here, which is the recent highs. And I think that's also got form back here. Yes, it has as support here. It's probably a little bit higher than where price is. But that dotted red line pretty much is where our stop loss is. You can see it's been support here and resistance here. And we've broken it, come back below it, and retested it with last week's bar. So it's on that basis that I think we've got a shot at going lower and maybe to these highs here, which was the previous breakout level, right? And remember, my analysis for the last few weeks has been this big move, this follow through, phase one, beautiful ascending triangle there, smashed. We've gone into consolidation again. So there's more than one way to look at this. This could be phase three coming up with a launch above here. But again, if that fails, then I think we're in a good position to catch the short as well. Not that confident as I was when I placed the trade, I've got to say, because I'm seeing the top of this channel now and maybe beyond, as I've just described. Now, I think I probably said this yesterday, with the confusion of time frame correlation that I'm seeing at the moment all over the place. You know, the daily's telling me one thing, the weekly's telling me another, the 4 hours telling me completely in the middle somewhere. And it makes it very difficult to have a directional bias. But one thing I do want to stress, if these setups aren't working out for you, if you're trading, let's say a double top, let's say a bearish engulfing bar, let's say a bullish engulfing bar, whatever you trade, if it's not working out, it's generally the case that something else is going on. And that no better case than on Aussie Kiwi. Was it Aussie Kiwi? I think it was Aussie Kiwi. Did I try and explain this yesterday? I probably did. Wouldn't it give you the SH1Ts? Or was it Aussie dollar? It was Aussie dollar, right? Aussie dollar, big head and shoulders. I think I've explained this a few times. And we did flag that this, if it wasn't doing what I anticipated that it should, which was go short here, which we did, TP1 out. So break even trade there. Had another crack at going short off the retest, which we're expecting, right? Didn't do it. Retested the neckline again. Didn't do it again. It's at this point you start to think, well, hang on. If this head and shoulders isn't playing out, something else is happening. And that's exactly what we've seen in the last few days. So that would be probably the lesson to take from what the market is doing at the moment on these different timeframes. If it's not doing what you're expecting it to do in a timely fashion, like here, then it's probably going to do something else. And that's the approach that I'm probably going to take into the market at the moment, because I'm really not seeing too much. It's a confusing market for mine. As I said before, this is exactly the same scenario. This should follow through, did. Then this should follow through, didn't. Why? What stopped it? Is it a fundamental reason? Maybe. I don't know. But we've now gone straight into range. And for that reason, I'm willing to trade this to here, but I haven't got the confidence that it's going to go on with the job anymore. Maybe it does. And if so, happy days. But if once I start to see this, I'm starting to think, well, hang on, that followed through. Okay. Maybe it went into range here and did the job. Now it's done exactly the same thing. That's what I mean. It's just really confusing. Patience is the key. All will be revealed in the long term. G'day, mate.
Hello, buddy. Hello. Yeah, just listening to you and what you're saying, and I couldn't agree more that the market is Something is afoot because the
Mm.
FTSE 100 is. I've just read some of the data from the UK, and I've got stopped out on my Aussie yen as well, um, which is okay because what I won't do at this point is change my view. I still think that the Aussie yen will go lower.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't really mind. Sort of getting stopped out of these areas is not a problem because I'll then target the next level up, um, rather than just completely discarding it. But yeah,
There's a big difference between getting the timing wrong and getting the analysis wrong. Big difference.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And I suppose that's the thing with it. And we had an event on the weekend, and I was talking about exactly this. Is that it's back to that. If you trade on a trade by trade basis, then you are going to be in all sorts of trouble. But if you sort of take it as a basket of potential opportunities, then there's no reason for your idea to eventually work out. But you've just got to make sure that you control exactly how that's being done. But yeah, it's been a strange one because I'm reading some of the data points from the UK this morning. Unemployment rate. In fact, shall I share my screen for a little while?
Please do, and I hope you're going to tell me that this is looking as though we might be able to get a short on the on cable at least, or something else that's
No,
got
I can't. I
no,
can't tell you
can't tell
that.
me that. Okay.
No, because I've had a really good look at the numbers. That the unemployment rate at 4.9%. Claimant count is lower to 10.1 thousand as well. Average earnings is a really interesting number because the average earnings is being disproportionately affected by lower wage workers. So where we'll see the people in the kind of middle tier of businesses and above still keeping their jobs, the lower wage workers are losing their jobs, or they are in industries that just haven't yet picked up, like the certain leisure industries, the entertainment industry, theatres are still struggling. Cafes and bars are still struggling. So those workers that tend to service people in those areas have not yet picked up. Things that have opened though in the last week or so. So I suspect these numbers will probably change and give us a different print in the next quarter. Because I'm seeing the bar down the road, and it's rammed every night at the minute. I think people are just, I think in 3 months' time the numbers are going to be probably disproportionately higher in percentage terms than they have been, just because there is just absolute demand going on, even in the retail area that we've been talking about, retail parks and retail parts of cities just completely shutting down. So streets that have that have physical shops just not being competitive, and that's been going on for years. But all of a sudden, there's this big influx of people. There was queues outside of Primark for somebody was sending me a couple of hours the other day, because everybody's thirst to try and
Cabin
get
fever.
in. Yeah, well, it is cabin fever, mate. And I've used Google, I've used Amazon over the last few months, and I bought trainers
So
from
does
there.
my
And
wife. My God, you said that.
well, they've got this thing that Alison might know about, called Amazon Wardrobe, where you
Oh
pick
no, she'd
something.
know. Don't worry about that.
So you pick something, they send it to you, you try it on, and absolutely for free, you just go to the post office and they take the box and ship it back to them.
That's actually been happening in my place. She's been taking parcels out of the place. I
Oh
say,
yeah.
who's bought some bamboo underwear? She's
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's Amazon Wardrobe. But after a while, when the first few times that I got some items, I was quite excited about the way that the structure was set up. I thought, this is fantastic. I never have to go to the shops again. And to be quite honest, mate, I don't like shopping. I don't like going to stores. There's too many people for me.
Nor do I.
It's just it's just a bit claustrophobic. But there is another part of me now that is just like, I don't want to get my stuff through the post. I want to go to the store and try it on, because I haven't found one item that was either the right size or the right color, or whatever else it was. Most of them were just the wrong size. And that's the one thing about the store, is that at least you can try on, you can sit
Yep.
there and just try on everything, and get what you want. So I haven't. I am getting the desire to go back to stores, but I'll probably just pick my moments. I'll go when everybody else is at work.
Now, I'll give you a business idea
Yep.
since you mentioned that, right? Now, what you need to do is be an online tailor
Oh
so
yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
you've got everybody's measurements in your database,
Yeah.
and the instant they want to buy something, you can supply it to fit. You don't have to go through that process.
Yeah, yeah. There are those business models out there. Actually, there's a company called iTailor that do exactly that, mate. Yeah, they do exactly
That'll
that.
work.
But you'd think it would, but actually, there's still an issue with the material. I've ordered stuff from them before, and when I got it through the post, I was very disappointed with the quality of the material, and with that, you can't send it back because it's specifically made for you. So they don't take returns on that stuff. So that in itself has
So you didn't
a
have a choice of material.
I
That's the
did,
next step.
but I probably chose the wrong one
I mean, you
because
buggered. You got it wrong.
I don't know materials. Like I don't really know this exactly the size of well, I know some people know their vital statistics, but I don't. I just go to the store and see if a trainer fits. If it, I'll pick out a particular size, but they're all slightly different, aren't they? So I'll pick out something or a pair of trousers. I'll put it on, and if they fit, I'll take them. If they don't, I'll put them back and maybe try the next size up. But I can't remember specifically. My leg's that, my waist is that, my shoe size is that, and they're this broad and this long. Again, mate, I didn't know anything. I don't know enough about materials to know what balance of cotton over polyester and everything else I should have in a shirt. And yeah, I got something very disappointing. So I don't think I'll be
You've
using
been
it
eating
again.
too many donuts, mate.
Anyway, let's get back to this. So, unemployment rate came in well. Claimant count came in well. Average earnings skewed, but right across the board, after reading this in some detail, there's positivity. Things are opening back up again. And then I open up the charts and I have a look at some stocks. I was interested in a specific stock this morning, and the first thing I was thinking of doing was buying it, and it was down like 5% on the open. So maybe I'll get an opportunity to buy it up later. I don't know, but something is going on. And if we look at some charts now,
that's what I'm saying, isn't it? Something's afoot. There's
something's afoot. Yeah, I mean the FTSE 100.
An odor in the air. I'm not sure what it is.
No, I don't know yet, mate. I don't know, and I didn't listen to Bloomberg. I decided to read all the company's RNS instead of listening to Bloomberg this morning. Which John's in the Kiwi Swiss buy, and it looks like it might be coming back to me. Back at you. Okay, let's have a look at that first.
Kiwi Swissy.
Kiwi Swiss. Well, the Aussies obviously having a pretty good time of it. That's pretty good, mate. That is pretty good. But let's have a look at this pattern here. It looks like it should come back at you. That looks like what we've got here. And I know some people would call this a bull flag, but I'm reticent to call these longer term patterns flags because they're just too long. To my mind, a flag should be really no more than 5 days. So I don't like flags on weekly charts, which is probably what it will look like on a weekly chart. But ultimately, it doesn't matter what it's called. What matters is we got this channel going on here, and if this high gets taken out, then you should be in a really good position in a really good place. And it just depends on the money management from here, because you're absolutely right, John. It should come back. I was doing some analysis on Switzerland yesterday, and fundamentally they're not in bad shape, and it kind of led me to thinking that the Swissy will probably be quite rangy. However, if the Kiwi has got some driver, then it may well go through. It may well go through to this particular point. It's at the monthly pivot. Okay, yeah. So if it's at the monthly pivot, then yeah, I mean, you would definitely have to say the probability that this is coming back, isn't it? I don't know where you got in and whether you're looking at this for a longer term trade, but depending on where you get in, then if you're quite shallow, if it's quite close to this area, a bit of profit taken here wouldn't be a bad idea, because the thing about this is that and I know people don't necessarily do this, but there's nothing wrong at all if you can get into this mentally, get into the habit of saying, you know what, I'm going to take some off, not all necessarily, but some off the table, and that sum is really down to what you think is the right amount, of course, from your calculations. Take some off, and then what you're effectively hoping will happen is not that it comes back and makes you right, but it actually goes through. Because if this does go through and you've got out right on the point of the potential retest, you might not get exactly the same price. Then as it does come back and comes back down again, you can just re-enter. You know, you can re-enter while I've already taken some of the profit off the table. And if it continues just to rocket to the upside, that's kind of no big deal either, because you've still got something left on the table. You know, if it just kind of all of a sudden just starts to, whoops, wrong color. If it all of a sudden starts to go like that, it doesn't matter, because you've still got some on the table. But it's an obvious area of resistance, isn't it? So just by the law of probabilities, if you like, mate, then there would be certainly a suggestion that this is coming back somewhat from this particular point. But it is just a suggestion.
It might already have done so. You've got a genuine slingshot set up there as well. So
okay.
You know, that's a breakout level. There's no question it's a breakout level. It could go.
Yeah, it could go. And looking at this, so let's go to the Aussie yen, and I think it ended up that your analysis was the right of the two in the end, mate. When we look at this trend line, looks like that was tested as an area of support, didn't become resistance.
Get through there at the time. Yeah,
couldn't get through there. Yeah, and you know, this is all stuff really for the journal. You know, as I'm journaling this stuff, because this is relatively new, that the approach here, and it really is down to I'm just at the minute I'm testing the validity and strength of that COT seasonality and a specific chart setup idea, but that chart setup may need to change a little bit. I think the cotton seasonality aspect of it has worked prior, but the chart setup might not be quite right. But what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to leave it go. Now, there's always two ways to trade this stuff, and I have to say that I am actually trading it slightly different on another account. So this is it's not really a test, but it's my own account, and I'm kind of given carte blanche to do with it as I will. And on my other account, what I like to do is just use no leverage, as you guys know. So I've got no leverage on the Aussie yen. Let me show you that one instead, because that's there's two ways that this can be seen and looked at. So the first thing is, so with this one, I'm just leaving this one on. Now with the first one, so there's no leverage on this, and what I'm going to do is let it go, and I'm going to pick this area. And I'm going to enter short again there. And I probably won't enter short before that. You know, is that area there high enough? No. You know, if it comes to here and fails again, I would suggest that I'm still in the zone for it to be okay for a longer term time frame. So here, this area here really is really all part of the zone. So I'm okay with sort of anything going short here. But when it comes up here a little bit, then there's probably enough to suggest that that I should be getting in short again. So I'm gonna wait until with this one and go short there. Now the other way that you can play this and still use no leverage, which is what I'm doing with this one, is calculate the. Now, let's say you choose 1%. And now for me, you can go as high as 5%. But let's say you choose 1%. It's at the moment, I'm in on a 0. Are you talking about, are you still?
Kiwi
Good
Swiss.
morning, Shukri. How you doing, buddy? Okay, well, we need to get to Shukri. Let me just finish this little piece off. So let's say you go in at 1%. Now that 1% calculation should be from this point to this point, and you are going to still get stopped out if you are looking at the hourly. So you'd still look at this hourly and say, look, this is my entry here. But my 1%, my actually 1% risk is from this point here right up to the top point. Now, it might be that you end up having to take another trade in this area, but you haven't even risked 1% of your account because your 1% risk is all the way up there, is all the way up here. I will develop this and expand on it another time because we don't want to miss Shukri. How are you doing, buddy? Are you in?
Well, has he got to go? Hello, mate.
No, he hasn't got to go. But have you seen the fireworks, Jeff? Over the last 2 to 4 days, it has been crazy.
I saw there was something going on over the weekend. Has it changed again? Has it?
It's retesting again. Yeah, but it's all about liquidations now. People are getting liquidated left, right, and center.
So the weak hands are getting
shaken out.
Yeah, they're getting shaken out, mate.
No,
so this is actually good, right?
Wait. I have to change that. Not even shaken out. They were blown away against their will. Their accounts were liquidated, totally liquidated, gone.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. Because this is just pure speculation. When people speculate too much on leverage,
yes,
and then just one trigger and that's it. And I think most Europeans were asleep. Asia, we were just up in the morning, 8 a.m. Like, nothing is supposed to happen at 8 a.m., right?
Yeah. So go on, mate.
Sorry, mate. Can we just expand on it a little? Yeah. Because for people like me who don't have anything to do with it, am I broke? I haven't had any margin calls or anything.
No.
I'm okay.
Those who are not on margin, okay. And I'll tell you what happened. Okay, let's see what happened here. Look at that. Does this happen in Forex? Just say this is a Forex pair, right? This is at 0.093, some Forex pair. Mm-hmm. Can it go down to 0.060 and then come back up?
Oh yeah, I mean,
does it go like that, right? Okay, this will cause problems, right? That's one. Now let me show you another one. This is the futures account, and this is the margin account. Can it do like that? 1 minute.
It's
happened. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it has.
It's
happened.
rare.
I mean,
it's rare, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But then this is rare on crypto. Maybe less rare, but it's still rare on cryptos, isn't it?
No, it happens.
Oh, hang on, that's zero
during a peak. That's near zero. It happens all the time during when there is a lot of exuberance. It happened on Polkadot also,
Right.
Polkadot fell like 98%, and then it went back up again. So if you were on leverage, you would have gotten blown out. If you were not on leverage, you would be, hey, nothing happened.
Yes.
That's just the way it is. Like Jeff is still in profit. Hey, nothing happened.
Because so what happened with those people who did they get margin calls? Are they in debt?
No, they just got blown away.
They just got their account wiped out.
They just got their account wiped out. And let me show you this. This is what I think newbie traders don't realize, because they're trying to play with the whales and the sharks here who have a different kind of value, Okay, this is probably a newbie. Look at that. Today I learned this is the guy that went to 1 cent, right? $1 to 0.16 cents in less than a minute. Life savings of 150,000 gone in an instant, gone. And you will see many of these stories in crypto. Always happens. People never learn, especially the newbies. They go in and then they have a lot of money. They put a lot of money there and then they start leveraging.
My gosh, mate.
Yeah.
So
if you want to do this, you should go in with small money. And if you go in with small money, or if you're in this game for quite some time, you understand that even the big boys don't do this. They do this with money they are ready to lose anyway. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, isn't it, mate? Because when it comes down to it, you don't need to leverage. I mean, if you've if this guy's had 150K gone in an instant, well, I wonder whether that was mostly profit anyway. if it was up there and it came down to zero. So maybe he started with 10K. I don't know.
Look, that's not what he's saying though. He's saying it's his
gone.
life savings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And there's still a lot of these.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's horrible to hear.
It is.
But the way that the
horrible
crypto
to hear.
market's moved in the last 6 months, then you wouldn't need leverage. I mean, most stuff has gone up by 10x. So
you're right.
You know,
You're right.
you
No,
got.
need. Why do you need leverage? Because you want to make more, right? So
I guess so. And it is greed, and we sort of like say the word greed, and it is a negative, but everybody goes through it. Everybody sort of like goes through that thing where, and it's not just like out and out kind of like evil greed. It's that people just want a better life. So of course they end up kind of going and trying to take advantage of what's been going on in this kind of space. The question really is, mate, well, two questions I've got. Firstly, there's been lots of speculation on what this was down to. Is it the outage? Is it the power outage? Is it down to US Treasury regulation? Is it Dogecoin? What is it? What caused it?
I think it is something that was just an excuse for it to happen. Now, this is from this is a good guy. He's from Alameda. Sam, this is he's not the richest guy, but his boss is the richest guy in crypto. So he saw this before. Whenever you have irrational exuberance, any stupid thing can be an excuse to trigger cascading liquidations. Once you have that liquidations, then, well, the damage is already done, right? So let's see what he said here, because this has happened before, many times before. And he gives us a reminder, like, hey, this has happened before, guys. So, but this time it happened to altcoins and also Bitcoins. And he talks about, that margin in crypto is inefficient. It's not like Forex. That's a different story altogether. People seem to forget that. People seem to forget that margins in commodities and all that, those have been long. Those have been developed for long. Here, it's really not. Okay, so again, after all these complex theories, what does he say here? I think this is really cool. And look at that. Some futures account, like quarterly futures, are different from the daily futures. So some of the quarterly ones go even deeper. So you might, and the problem is this. I think, Jeff, you heard of this. It's cross-collateralization.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And that is the big thing, because you might see this account okay, and because another account that you were in does this, and you cross-collateralize everything gets blown out. So I'm sure the other guy was also press the button cross-collateralization. I hope he understood what he means, because he understands it now.
You'll probably see a screenshot of that somewhere in a trading magazine one day, called a V-shaped recovery. Time.
Well, this is the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, we're not getting a V-shaped recovery.
So look at this. Everything would have survived the crash if not for Rand. What does it mean? Cross-collateralization.
Right.
I don't think he knows what it meant. Jeff, you should teach him next time.
I will do a lesson on it. Right.
So Shukri, what are we looking for to suggest that because it hasn't come back, has it? I mean, we're still seeing.
Look at this, okay? So if things keep going up and up, well, nothing. People were right, and people put more money in. But what about there's a reason for small downturn, a reason like a super hype listing causing a rally and then falling short of the hype? They say this is Coinbase, because people knew that the Coinbase insiders were selling their shares, which is not a big deal, because they've been holding it for so long. That's nothing. So it's not a big deal. And that's triggered a lot of things, I don't even think it was the mining thing. That's normal. I mean, we have this, but we needed to reset. And look what he says today. So hasn't done this in a while today, but this also happened in 2020 during Thanksgiving. So let's see what happened there. Same thing. So basically, you need a double bottom or higher. What is this? Lower, higher. Yeah, this one. You just need this or this. You need a double bottom here, and then it just recovers back again.
Okay, so we're looking for something
or a higher
specific.
Low, I mean, higher low here, or that's it.
That's really my question is that and the Coinbase thing I find really interesting, because I was talking to my buddy about it, and my brother who owns some cryptos, and I said to both of them, be really careful when that Coinbase listing comes out, because everybody's so hyped up about it that it could be, and nobody knows, because you know but the thing is, anybody that's been trading a while or been investing a while has seen this all before. When everybody's hyper confident and says it's going to 100,000 and beyond without any pullbacks, that's the time that you start getting fearful. And I said to them, be careful with the Coinbase thing, because it's really positive potentially, and everybody's really hyped about it and only talking about the good side. So be very careful with it. And both of them kind of brushed me aside and said, you know, I'm doing this and whatever. And I said, okay, no problem. But anyway, there's still no question in my mind that crypto will play a very important part in the future. So the question is, where do we get back in? I mean, this is a great opportunity. It's a great buying opportunity.
That's why you have to look for patterns like this. Either you have a double bottom here, or you have a higher low here, and it goes like that.
Okay.
So now, you know, just let it do whatever it does. We don't know. Now, the problem with Coinbase was this, Ash. Not to blame your brother and your friend or whatever. Here's the deal. Everyone was expecting something to happen after this. Correct. But you know what happened? It went up after that. So when it went, it said, hey, I'm going to miss the boat.
Yeah. Well, do you know, the other thing is that I noticed that all the cryptos are down, but Binance coin yesterday was up.
Yes.
So what's that about?
Because they burned the coin. They burned the supply.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were burning the supply. So there's less and less. Yeah, but everything that goes up must come down. Everything that goes down must come up. Yeah. And the good thing is that this is the richest guy in crypto. They were buying. And this is always the thing, you know, when the retailers get blown out, the big guys go out and buy.
Of course.
And that's like really real. Yeah, it happens again and again. Like Jeff, you've seen it happen again and again and again and again.
Never change, Shukri. It's
never change, right?
The case, because that's exactly why it happens. It happens so that the big buyers can get the price. That's why it happens.
So the chart on Bitcoin currently, when I look at a monthly chart on Bitcoin at this current stage, there's an ugly shooting star on the, you know, as a monthly bar. Yeah. Now,
I think the worry on here is this: it's close. I didn't get this. It's close below the 50 moving average.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
first time in a while, right?
Yeah. It's close below that. So it's somewhere here. The 50 is somewhere here. Let me draw it here. So this is the issue now. So now it's like people are just looking at this to see what happens. It is around the 50. Yeah, the 50 was here.
Okay.
So, yesterday it looked that it was going to rebound. It looked like it, again, giving us hope. And then that bar, and then whoa, now. Yeah. So now everybody is kind of look and see what's going to happen on it. But for the guys that are experienced in Bitcoin, this is kind of normal.
Yeah.
And look at this. See, the issue is this: because it happened at a weird time in the morning. This is like the Forex. You know, Jeff, you were mentioning that between 5 and 6, when US is turning out and giving it to Japan, right? And you see many funny things happen, right? Even because you saw the Turkish lira crash at that time one several years ago, and all that funny thing, it happens at that time. So look at this guy.
Funny thing, that isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, during that time, I mean, 8 o'clock in the morning in Asia, who's doing anything? So US is closing.
I'm toiling away in the bloody paddocks, mate, at that time of day.
Ash, are you asleep at that time? Like, are you like?
What, 8 in the morning?
No, 8 in the morning in Asia.
8 in the morning in Asia. Well, I wasn't over the weekend. 8 in the morning. Oh yeah, that's 1 o'clock in. That's that's midnight. No, I'd still be awake. I'd still be awake.
Yeah, but hey, you're ready to go to sleep, and it's like it's the weekend, and it's the weekend.
Yeah.
Or you're out in a bar somewhere, and it's the weekend.
Yeah.
And look there. This is a very experienced guy. All my friends got liquidated. Now, all is a big thing. All is not, you know, all is not Peter, Pan, Susan, Ali, or whatever. This is like all.
Yeah.
So obviously this guy, you know, they were playing leverage. Again, I think that because a lot of people were already, Ash, I think a lot of people were already said, beware the Coinbase listing. But when it went straight up after that, people would say, hey, wait.
Yes, I know. I know. Which was even more concerning.
Yes.
So do you have a price point, Shukri? I mean, you know, we know that Elon Musk bought a 35,
Yeah.
and I think looking at the charts, we're looking at 50, maybe
Yeah,
45
50,
and 35.
47
So,
and 51. Yeah, I think.
so are
the
you
next-
looking? Are you looking? Because obviously we want to see that pattern, but the first thing we
Yes,
always want to
yes,
do is try and predict where that pattern may start to
yeah,
form.
yeah.
So
It's
areas of
47 or
support.
51. Yeah, 51.
Areas of support, areas of support on Bitcoin. You're saying 51, 47,
Yeah.
maybe 30. Is 35 a possibility?
I'm not sure anything is a possibility, but now we're kind of looking at between this and this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to come down like that, right? Then it went back up. Then it's going to be something like that, or just like Thanksgiving last year, it's going to be something like that. Something.
Yeah.
We don't know
yeah.
yet. We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Well, we're currently at 53 and a half, so we got a little way to go. But if you look at that bar on the hourly, on the monthly, it looks pretty ugly at this particular stage.
And I think this is because of Coinbase. It didn't really perform to what people were expecting it to do. So I think the big boys were already out. That's why they came back in buying.
I mean, if that closes, at or near its lows, that's going to suggest lower.
Oh, this is bad.
So my question is, we're in April. We're about what, possibly eight trading days away, maybe 7 trading days away from the end of April. Firstly, what's the likelihood that we get price action staying around about here? And also after that, because if it does that, that would suggest that there's further to come in May.
Even if it rebounds, I think what Gordon said about 14th of May being D-Day is correct.
Okay.
Okay, because the markets are due to go down.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if the markets go down, they will take Bitcoin down. Having said that, on Sunday, Julian did mention, right, that Bitcoin leads NASDAQ. It seems to be true because the NASDAQ tagged yesterday.
Didn't see the NASDAQ.
Yeah. So, but we have another turning point here, which is on the 27th and 28th is consensus. Consensus is the yearly Bitcoin event, and that's usually a turn. So even if we turn here, I do expect something small like that. And then we go up again, and then it will steady during the summer.
27th, 28th of April or 27th, 28th of May?
This is May.
May. Yeah. Okay, so we could be looking at maybe trying to buy back into Bitcoin around about the middle of May.
Around here. Yeah, around.
All right, I'm happy with that, mate.
We have another down. Even if it goes up, I think this one will bring it down because just it makes sense to me. You know, if you are paying less taxes, why wouldn't you sell and get your taxes over with?
Yes.
I mean, it's not. I don't care where Bitcoin is. I just want to get my taxes over with because it's always a bad experience, right? You just no more.
Yeah. Well, I've got because I was looking at Argo blockchain. I'll tell you what was really interesting. Argo blockchain's a stock, just so everybody's aware that you can buy in the UK, and they are Bitcoin miners, and they've got into the NFT space recently as well, which I also find quite interesting. They don't pay a dividend right now, but their price. When Bitcoin and all the other coins were, just rocketing to the upside, their price. Let me tell you what their gains were. They went from low to high in the same period that the others went. So around about the December last year, right the way up to February. So within 2 months, they were up 2,900%. Argo blockchain. Now, obviously, they are falling because Bitcoin's falling. So they're currently down around about 60% or something, something like that from the highs. Now, they led the move down, which was really the flag for me. I saw them I bought them, and then they started to come down. I bought them at 250-ish, maybe 230. They're currently at 130. I bought them at 230, and I saw something. I was like, that doesn't look right. So I closed my position, and I thought, how is it that they're going down and Bitcoin's going up? Because they are so closely correlated, very similar to the gold price and gold miners. And the gold miners have historically been a very, very good barometer for what's going to happen with the price of gold, because they they know more than everybody else. You know, why are they? Why? Because and it seemed to me that there might be some inside trading going on with Argo. It's like they knew something, so they started to weaken, and I thought, okay, this doesn't look right to me. So I closed that position.
Miners?
They are miners.
Okay.
They
miners usually know something because they get there first. So they probably had insider information. MicroStrategy has really gone down. But if Argo is mining, because they would know, because a lot of mining is coming from China. And if you're mining, you know, you can see the hash rate. You can see something wrong. You don't know whether it's going to be wrong or not, but you get that early warning signal much earlier than the rest. That's a good thing. I need to see that stock too. So look at this. This is, look, 10 billion was liquidated. Do you know that on Sunday, 5 billion was liquidated in an hour? That was the biggest ever. I blame it on sleep. People were just not awake.
Yeah. So, but surely now those people are out of the way. Is there many more accounts that can be liquidated from here on in? I mean, I suppose.
I think a lot of them have already been liquidated, so they are still licking their wounds.
So there's probably going to be very few retail speculators now getting back into the crypto market for quite some time.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these are now the big boys.
So does that mean the frenzy is over for a while?
The frenzy is over for a while because the liquidate the retailers have
been
thrown
flushed
out of the water. Yeah, they've been flushed out. But it's good for the long term because you need that.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
and things happen again, like Jeff, the big guys always come in. And why wouldn't the big guys buy at the top? It's always the same thing.
It's a cool world.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, this would be a really interesting one to put up with the sentiment cycle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would.
You know, when you think that the point before the huge move to the downside is that overconfidence, and now we just get fear and more fear. So it'd be interesting to see sort of like how this plays out, because I'm obviously interested in buying back into the crypto space again, and I will go back in and buy Argo blockchain when things settle down. But I'm still trying to figure out where's the best point to buy. Now, of course, if it's down, if I bought at 250 and closed, if I bought at 230 and closed around about the same area and it's now down to 130, I've got loads of time. And this is the kind of big thing that I would say to people is that let's be professional and not try and pick the bottom. Let's let it form, because it's unlikely for this thing just to bounce back hard now, because you know, from what I gather, there are a lot of those people that were sending the Wild West into crypto space now out, and they won't get back in for a while, probably for another year, maybe.
They just got blown out. Let's see, this is what is cool with the world. You remember last year we had this stealth rally. It wasn't in the mainstream media, right? So only the big guys were there, and MicroStrategy got in at 10K, Tesla got in at 35K. And then when it hit over 50K, the retail started coming in and everyone was happy, and kaboom.
May I ask the question, what are the Reddit crowd saying about this?
The Reddit are busy pushing Dogecoin. See, now is very weird. Now is very weird because everything is about a theme, right? Like yesterday, the theme is, I was listening to Gordon's show, and then I also saw CNBC. This guy, which is Roaring Kitty, actually he exercised the options, which means he is still long on this share called what? This share called GameStop, right? So it's all about a theme, Jeff. It's all about a theme. See, this is why everything's so weird, Jeff. I think you have to write a new book if you want to go into shares. And it's so weird that people are supporting GameStop. I mean, Roaring Kitty, which is just a guy sitting in an apartment somewhere, is driving the share of GameStop. That's it. And it's so weird, you know, it's a story. And Doji bounced back.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, isn't it?
A story, because even in all this, when everybody gets killed, Doji bounces back. So now it's all about the retail traders coming together in all this Wall Street. See, everything is havoc. I think they have to rewrite this whole new investment book. Or at least
have they been burnt, though, Shukri?
Era, right? Or about this crazy era now.
The guys that were on the Reddit crowd and the Wall Street site. Have they been sufficiently burned? I mean, have you been reading their tails between
No,
their
they're
legs?
not. They're not.
That's why I asked the question. I thought
The big
maybe
guys are burned. No. The big guys were burned by that. What was that guy's name? Bill Huang, right? They were not burned by Bitcoin and all this crypto. No.
Not the big guys. I'm talking about the people that drove that GameStop price, and the smaller guys, the people that all got together and said.
When you go into the Reddit thing, you have to understand something. They're doing it for a cause. They're willing to lose money.
Right.
You just find like, why are you holding, dude? You should be selling. No. I'm gonna hold because this is for a cause. And for the average Joe that's coming in, your friend and my friend who don't know about this, they just go in and lost money. And they don't understand. To those people, losing money is okay. I mean, Doji is like a story. You know why Doji is being sent up here? Because look, Mark Cuban is even pushing it. It had no use. Yeah, I agree with you, John. It had no use. But Mark Cuban, who came in, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, says now, okay, you can buy tickets using Dogecoin. Okay, that's a use case.
Wow, that's amazing.
I got conspiracy theories running through my head like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And I best not air them because it's just it doesn't mean anything because I don't know anything about this space. But
yeah, but it's weird.
wow.
I think, Jeff, it's like the GameStop story. It is a theme. Okay? And there is a theme now. And I think this is a strong theme. I think Doji, as crazy as I am, I think Doji goes to $1 because that's what they're pushing it to. Because it just came back so strongly, like, hey, how come, look at that? How come Doji, what happened to that? And this is the power of the crowd, the power of the crowd, the power of Wall Street bets here. That, when you are able to assemble all these retailers together and just get them mad. And if you go to the groups, there's a lot of 4-letter words here. They say, don't F sell. Don't F sell.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think this is the interesting thing. And this is something that my brother said to me and something that my buddy said to me is that they are hodlers. And I understand the hodling thing. But surely there's some points that you go, why would you hodl here if you can get a better price in a bit?
Yeah, this is insane. This is crazy. You're right. The standard hodler is not like these. This is we're part of a cause. We don't sell because our friend will not look highly at us anymore. Like if I sell, if I'm hodling Doji and John's hodling Doji, it doesn't matter if it falls 80%. I will not buy John drinks anymore if he sells.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand.
Okay, so
that's just
drop
what it
10K, but Shukri won't buy you
There's honor in hodling.
Gee, that makes sense.
I know. Well, do you know what? That's the thing, Shukri, and both the guys that I spoke to sort of about that, it was almost like a badge of honor that they are hodlers and they are going to sort of like stand by the cause. And I was like, why would you do that? If it looks a bit
remember the Japanese? Harikari.
Yeah.
We would rather die.
Well, but the thing is,
than be caught selling.
This is where I don't get it, because if you let's say Bitcoin's up at 60,000 and you see it's a little bit toppy, you get concerned, so you close your positions and you put your buy order back in at 59,000. Yeah. You've still made some money, if your whole perspective is to hodl and you're never going to sell, you've still made yourself some money. So I understand that you're not a trader. And you're not looking at this like trading, but there are surely certain times in the market, we saw it a couple of years ago, where you just sort of like go, why would I need to sit through another 2 years of pain when I could have got out at a really good profit?
Let me show you, because you got to be part of the gang.
I don't want to be part of the gang.
David, we will get to your questions, by the way.
You will not right? You are not going to this, right? You're not going to be friends with you anymore. We're not going to be friends with you anymore. That's the way. And if you look at this, right, there's a lot of taunting going on. Literally taunting going on. So it doesn't make sense, but that's what people are in now, and you don't see this. That's why the guy who comes into crypto does not see this. So if you get all if you get all overcome by all of this, you're going to be in big trouble. That's why you got to go in cool, right? And at the end of the day, who comes in? The big guy. That's Sam Beckman-Fried. So he goes in, right? So he goes in, and this is the thing. Yeah, this is good. I have two basic rules about winning in trading as well as in life. If you don't bet, you can't win. If you lose all your chips, you can't bet. Done.
Yeah.
And people
Yep.
now are, I think, quite extreme in willing to lose all your chips, which is not right. And to me, the safest play now in crypto is still IDOs. I mean, for example, some of our people went into IDO, something called Mina. It's only 25 cents. Let's see what it is now. See, no matter what it is, the markets can go up or down, but the IDOs are always the safe ones. If you can get in, let's see how much Mina have made, because this one, they restricted us to $500, and let's see there. And yeah, so the insane gains are still there. This is the way that I think changes life. So let's see that before we go off. It's now $68. How much would you have made? And some of our noobs even got this. Okay, this is so cool. 275 times. So some people, one of the guys from the first batch that I taught. I'm not going to tell names because, yeah, we don't want the wife or husband to know, right? That $500 is now worth $137,000.
Wow.
And that's why we're still in crypto no matter what. But you got to separate the wheat from the chaff, I mean, it's nice going there. I want to hodl until the end of time. But guys, this is the thing that makes money. Things like these make money, and we got to focus on things that really make money, because $500 to $137,000.
Where's that funded? How's that funded, Shukri?
They do an IDO. They do like an initial public offering like Coinbase, but then you can come in and buy at lower prices, because in crypto, they always want to give the small guy a chance. It's the only place in the world where the small guy gets a bite very early on. Sometimes you even get the same bite as the early venture capitalists. And nowhere will you get this ever again, because if they were to give us the small guy, usually when he gets in a bite early in other spaces, guess what? You guys know, right? 99% of the time it's a scam.
But what has Mina Protocol sold to have its capital value?
Yeah, this is blockchain. This is a good one.
Whatever multiple that was.
On a phone.
274,001, right?
So it's small. It's very, very small, because Bitcoin is not going to work on the phone. Ethereum is not going to work on the phone, or not as efficient. But this one can be run, is for mobile. And anything mobile is going to be big, because nowadays, when I do these things for the critical transactions, I don't do it on my phone. I do it on my computer. But if I can do it on my phone, that's even better. Yes.
Okay, but this is not a centralized exchange, right?
No.
So the broker can't pay that money back, right? If
This one?
let's say 50% wanted to cash in at that price.
Yeah.
How do they get paid?
No, then they will go to a proper exchange. Then they just have to go in early. So when this is listed, guess what happens? It's going to dump, and then it's going to pump again. That always happens. So let's see where this goes. So the guy that gets in out here is good. The guy that gets in down here usually will dump around 40% and then goes back up again. Yeah. But I'm glad that John got it, right? So in the madness of all of this, yeah, look at these things, guys. These are the things that make money. And then we can go in and spend 1,000 and have a drink with the guys. Yay, guys, I hold until the end of time. Yeah, with 1,000 out of my 137,000.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
put it on the bar, buddy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I do. Because sometimes it's so much fun joining these guys. It's just not.
So okay, mate. Well, I think we can probably leave it there, unless you've got anything else that we really should be aware of.
That's it. Yeah, just look for that double bottom or higher low. That's all.
Higher, lower, double bottom. You're talking my language, buddy.
And we're probably looking about May. Are we? I mean, would you sort of like say it's possible
if it
to get a bit
up,
earlier?
If it goes up, I'm sure it will go down between 14th of May. But even if it goes down, there's another turn around 27th, because leading toward consensus every year it goes up. It's just that kind of season.
Yeah,
it's just the big Bitcoin thing. You know, it's like going back to, it's like going on a pilgrimage, Bitcoin pilgrimage.
Right. Okay, mate. Fantastic stuff. All right, mate. Thanks as always. That was brilliant. Enjoyed it, and I've been kind of desperate to talk to you all week. I probably haven't even asked you everything that I wanted to ask you. There's just so much happened at that particular point. But yeah, check out Argo Blockchain. I'm looking at a turning point around about 118. They're currently at 137, so I think maybe another 15% lower, and I think they start to get interesting. Definitely get interesting at 35. And
before we go, how do you spell it so that I don't lose it?
ARGO.
Oh, okay. Argo Block. Okay, got it. I got it. I will definitely look at this. Yeah, if they're a miner, I want to look at them. They know something we all don't know. Look for when they turn, because if they give us a decent barometer of what's going on within their company, because I suspect it was probably quite a few of the people that own shares in Argo Blockchain that run the company were probably like, you know what, we're up 3,000% here. Let's just take some profit, and then obviously Bitcoin starts dropping and everybody else starts taking their profit too. So that one has collapsed. Which is why I believe that if I have a tax thing, hey, I'm going to take some profit.
Of course, absolutely, mate, absolutely. The only thing with that though is that the big move in cryptos really happened in December. That was the start of it. So we haven't had a full year where people have owned that asset. So how does that equate to the May 14th?
Because May 14th, after that, heading into consensus leads to what is a summer rally.
Okay.
And by that time, I don't know about Jeff. By that time, maybe when Jeff was younger, he knows. By that time, the retailers would have somehow gotten the courage to go back in again. They kind of forgot they got liquidated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, anger's going to come back in. Anger's going to come in at some point, isn't it? And when the anger's kind of like subsided, it's like, right, let's go and try this again and see if I can make my money back.
And
some of them got to go and get a job and earn that money back.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And at the end of summer, Jeff, same thing happens again, and we're going to talk the same thing again.
Yes, true story. Nothing changes.
You see, guys,
time is different, right?
Nothing changes.
No, it's always the same, mate. It's always the same, and you know, it's just it's sometimes quite difficult and uncomfortable to be a naysayer, but because you do get kind of like
Ash, if your brother is investing in Dogecoin, you don't tell him that. Okay, you do not tell him that. Nobody talks against the dog. Okay, nobody. That's it for now, guys.
Okay,
thanks,
mate.
Buddy.
All right.
Listen, I'm still trying to work out how to get you a high def bloody image of Tassie Devils, but I'll get there eventually.
Okay, cool. Nice.
See you, mate.
Have a good one, mate. Thanks so much.
David, I'm intrigued. Ash, you were telling me there was good news for the pound earlier, yet David's telling me there's bad news for the UK and the euro. What's going on?
Oh, let's have a look. In oil? You're kidding me.
Oh, hang on.
In oil?
Bad news come out of UK, going to impact FTSE and pound versus the dollar. What bad news can you tell me? I haven't seen any.
I haven't yet either, but let me just double check, mate. Not that probably. I don't see anything. What are you referring to, David? Things are a little subdued, I suppose.
In Newsland?
No, just I mean some of the data we looked at. You know, the
drop.
The what? Sorry.
David saying there was a payroll drop.
Yeah, so that's what we were discussing earlier on. The average earnings, but as I said, you know, that average earnings is a skewed number because of the types of people that are driving that number down. So that number, Ash, did you discover what was fundamental caused the dollar to plunge and euro? Oh, yeah, no, I didn't actually. I didn't, and it was interesting because after looking at those markets, it was about the dollar. It wasn't about those others, because the dollar was kind of coming down against everything. But you know, mate, I've got to be completely honest with you. I completely forgot to look into that yesterday. When it comes down to the UK, yes, those numbers, you know, the average earnings they're not great, and they are a bit subdued, but they are difficult to kind of like really get an idea of what's going on with the jobs market, because it's being heavily skewed towards the lower end of the pay bracket, because it's those guys that are still in industries that haven't fully opened. And if you look across the board at some of the numbers with industries, so some of the industries, all of them have expanded, except for that area when you start to look at entertainment, like theatre and some of the bars. So those workers are out of work, and inevitably, if they're out of work, then it helps the average earnings in some respects. So yes, those numbers are skewed, and yes, those numbers are subdued. But I wonder whether, you know, now things are starting to open up. As I say, we opened up about a week and a bit ago. So I wonder whether the next print that we get is going to be a lot more positive than that. But I don't see, I mean, when I looked around the charts this morning, I was looking around the pound. I mean, if the FTSE definitely was suffering a little bit, but what's happened since we were talking to Shukri? It's down a little bit. I don't see it being that significant, if I'm honest. Let me just share my screen.
I've got a view on the pound, David, but I don't have a view on oil. So I don't know if Ash has got one on that.
Well, oil, we need to look and check out what the inventory numbers are this week. So the oil market has been sufficiently stabilized, really. What's happened to oil? Where are we? Yeah, I mean, that's continuing to push higher. It's continuing to push higher. So they're doing all the right things, it seems, with oil. Looks like we're going to get back to the highs and probably beyond. A lot of people seem to be calling for $70 a barrel. That's what I heard most recently, and I've got no reason to suggest that they're wrong on that. Currently at 64.20, so $70 a barrel would be kind of the next, if you like, psychological price level when it comes down to a round number. And let's see what that would look like on the chart. That's there. And you can see might be a little bit of there's a horizontal level just here. So $70 a barrel looks in its reach and in its sights. And this would also be quite bullish on markets. You know, you see oil continuing to the upside. That would look quite bullish on markets. Things are a bit strange, David. There's no doubt about it. When Jeff and I opened today, we were both sort of saying that there are a few anomalies out there which just haven't really made sense with the markets and what's going on with the markets. So things are a little bit odd, but and
there's generally a reason for that. You know, the obvious generally turns around. If that's if you can see something obvious, be cautious is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'd agree, because you know, I'm looking at the FTSE 100, and I can tell you that 60%, 70% actually of the FTSE 100 stocks are down. So there is some weakness here in this market. I've still got buy orders in because I'm still interested in buying the FTSE, but I'm probably going to have to get in here. I'm probably going to have to put a buy order in somewhere here, and I'll be comfortable with that. Maybe more like 68.40. So yeah, a 2% drop in the FTSE, I think that's likely, but it's not that concerning. To my view, the FTSE did get to that 7,000, but I don't think that's that concerning. We don't have any really big indication that the market is turning at these levels. It's just having a bit of a pullback today, to my mind, and this will be a potential buying opportunity. So those numbers from the UK, I don't know, and I haven't seen any major significance. Let's have a quick look at some pound charts and see. So okay. pound. Here we go. So pound Aussie. Pull back to a trend line. Will it get through there? I don't know. I mean, this is when you want to start thinking, okay, that is significant. The fact that the pound is
right there,
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
a
you got
bounce point.
it's definitely a bounce point. You got the trend line and the horizontal line here on the hourly, and there may well be some pivots there as well. So pound,
phase three set to launch from right there. I would have thought
it does look good. It does look good for sure, and I'd want to see what the volume is on that. So pound CAD. Again, that looks like it probably is gonna drop a little bit further, but that could drop a little bit further for sure. Pound Swissy, I mean, it's not that, I don't think it's that significant. This is still within a range, hasn't broken down, and I'm not saying it won't potentially be significant, but it's just a bit of an extreme pullback, and I appreciate that this bar, if you compare it to many of the other bars, is more extreme. But the price point isn't. The price point isn't suggesting breakdown with the pound. Maybe on the Kiwi, you could argue that the price point is breaking down.
Keep breaking, looking for another buy.
That's against the dollar. But the move has been pretty extreme. So to see an extreme move down on an hour over hour, I don't think it's that concerning personally. The pound looks in, but you know what? The UK economy, to me, looks in relatively good shape. So yeah, we're likely to see a pullback to this area.
It's got some work to do to go higher at the moment, in my opinion. It's incredibly difficult to buy right now. The pound.
Yeah, I agree. You know, we are on a horizontal level of resistance here, so this would suggest that we do come down, and maybe you just have the
chart as well. It's screaming pullback.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. Yeah. And to be honest, you look at the COT data, the pound is the weakest of the currencies. And we were talking about this yesterday. The pound is the weakest of the currencies, and yet yesterday had a pretty astonishing day. So if you were to look at the COT data and say, I'm going to trade the COT data this week, you'd be going long yen and short pound. And all these moves would provide you an opportunity.
I'm super keen for that to bounce from where it is right now, pound US dollar, to give me a higher low, because that's a massive chart pattern that you're seeing right there. That double bottom is undeniable. That's going to mean something someday.
Yeah.
Double bottom.
Yeah. I think you're right. Anyway, Matt, unless there's any other questions, I think we should probably wrap.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much on that point of David's that I wanted to expand.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want to answer his latest question, but
I can't see the questions, mate.
They're in YouTube, that's why.
Oh, okay.
So David's saying dollar weakness and pound strength, 100% correct. But both are at pivotal points. The pound is at 91. The dollar index is at 91, the figure, and at I don't know if you've got that there, mate. And the pound, as you can see right there, is at a resistance point, and a strong one. So to go long here, pound US dollar, probability-wise, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't mean it won't go. But from a probability point of view, you've got to respect the fact that one's at support and one's at resistance. And if you try, you're trying to pedal upstream,
yeah, that's the dollar index there, which is weak.
Sure.
So David, this is the basket of currencies versus the dollar, and it's suggesting dollar weakness. I mean, it's through that area. This
monthly, yes.
Monthly, yeah.
But look at the levels that it's at. Those 3 support levels, really strong.
Yeah, and there's an inverted head and shoulders potentially forming here as well. So because we are looking at the monthly, it hasn't broken down yet, and this could quite easily bounce back. So there's your left shoulder, there's your head, and this could potentially be some kind of right shoulder forming. So it's possible that this one does get some pickup on this zone here, picks up, and then starts to form another inverted head and shoulders possibly.
Look, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it going long, but all I'm saying is that it's time for a little bit of a respite in what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hanging. I'm not even hanging my hat on it. I'm just observing that that's the case. And whilst one is looking extremely bearish, the others are looking extremely bullish. That's kind of the time, and we've been talking about it. You know, it's kind of the time where you want to start thinking, oh, just be cautious.
I would suggest that there's probably easier trades to take on against the pound.
Yeah, the dollar's a tough nut to crack at the moment, I've got to say.
Look at this one. I mean, this is the euro pound.
Mm-hmm.
Pull back to an area. You know, if we're suggesting that the pound's news is sufficiently weak to give us an opportunity, then yeah, this actually looks pretty good, doesn't it? Let's have a look on the hourly. In fact, the 15 is going to be quite telling here probably, because it looks like we've got a little trend line here that we're right on top of. So it breaks through this level. So let's think about this. On a 15-minute chart, you've got an accumulation point here. And this is an accumulation point here. Now I'm going to look at this one in a bit more detail later on, because I might even trade this myself. And then you've got, in a way, a bit of a phase one. So you get the higher high and you get the higher low. So now this is a bit of the next kind of run going on, and this is probably all going to be part of the same phase in many respects. But if we're looking on a 15-minute chart, what we are seeing is that first higher high and first higher low. So this is now confirmed in a 15-minute uptrend. Now, whether it breaks through that particular point and you have to get the opportunity there is really the question that you'd have to make. I wouldn't want to trade it there, because that's the only thing that is holding it up. If we were just kind of like look at this on the normal breakouts and retracements, it would suggest that we are probably looking at around about midday UK time. So in about 3 hours, I think the euro pound would start to look interesting, because what we'd want to see at this point is for it to go higher and break through relatively, comfortably break through there, and then start to come back. And then if it came back and held this area, it starts to come back down here. If it came back and starts to hold this area around about to 0.8625, maybe 1.620, 1.620, 1.8620 to 1.8625, then you're starting to get an area that is close enough to confluence, because you'll have this trend line that it's broken through. You'll have this trend line that it's going to come back and retest, and you'll have the horizontal level line as well. So they're all kind of going to suggest an area of potential confluence, and we haven't even looked at the fib. Little 23.6% retracement there as well, if it only goes to there. So we want to make sure the fib is going to be accurate to where it goes to. But if that did manage to get up to that point, then that would give us a 38.2%. In that area. So I'd say look for confluence around about this point later in the day. That's the way I'd want to look at it. I don't know about you, mate, but that's the way I see it.
Oh, look, no argument from me. Absolutely no argument from me. I'm just a little bit concerned about the pound. Maybe I could just share my chart for a second. And
yeah, sure.
David, we probably haven't got time to answer your last few questions, but Ash, if you can write these down for tomorrow to answer David. Ash, how do you decide your limit order levels and predefine the stop? That's probably the one you need to answer for tomorrow, if you wouldn't mind, for David. And in the meantime, I'm going to share screen on the pound. And here's why I'm saying what I'm saying, David. And I'm not suggesting for 1 second that this cannot go long. Of course it can go long. It can do anything it wants. But here's the level that I'm talking about. We've already come off it once. That's not to say we won't go there again, as we did here, right? This is a crucial level for this currency pair. And the reason is, remember the global financial crisis? that's where the global financial crisis kicked in, and pound US dollar bounced off that level, stayed above that level until Brexit, pretty much, right? And Brexit forced it down. It's come back at that since. It's come back at it again now. This is not just a silly old level that I'm talking about. This is global financial crisis, and this is Brexit. So if you take that into consideration, you've got to understand that this is a very strong resistance level. So if you're trading long here at the moment, I think you've got to expect that 143 is a level that can't be messed with. Now, I understand that there's a long way to go to that level from where we currently are, but we've already come off it, and there's the risk. The inherent risk is there that we're coming off it, and we're going to go back down to not too far. I don't see it being a long journey to the downside, and I'm like you probably. I'm super keen to get long this. The reason being, this is the major chart. This is the major signal on this chart. It's this double bottom sitting here. But I expect that we're going to get a higher low at some point. That's significant. Where that is, who knows, probably here somewhere, but that's what I'll be looking for. I'll be looking for that higher low, and then I'd be more than willing to go long this. Absolutely agree with you, 100%. But right now, and this answers someone else's questions that I can't quite bring up at the moment. That's another good reason, and it's a great point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, we've had bullish activity on pound US dollar. Just go back in your chart and count how many times that's happened since whenever. 2000, I can't see any in here. 2, 4, 5. There's lots of fives in here. Doesn't happen often, right? Why? Why is that happening now? And if there's not a major reason for that to be happening now, which, apart from the fact that the dollar's falling, I don't see any major reason for that to be happening now. And as you say, maybe there's some mixed news on it. I just can't go long here right now. Can't do it. Not to say it can't, but I can't go long here. I've got to wait for a pullback. Simple as that. Righto, mate. I'm done.
Great stuff. All right. I will deal with that tomorrow then. So how do you decide your unit order and predefine the stop? I think I know exactly what you're talking about. So we'll get to that tomorrow. Have we got Ainsley in tomorrow, mate?
At this point in time, we have Ainsley in tomorrow. So we will be discussing gold and oil, which kind of came up today. Yeah. Absolutely. With David
brilliant
again.
stuff.
So there you go, David. Tune in tomorrow. There's going to be multiple answers to your questions.
Yeah, it's your show, David. In actual fact, mate, if you want to come into the room, then come on mic. That goes for everybody. Anybody that wants to come on mic and talk about charts, talk about what they're looking at, you are always welcome to do that. This is always a show that is really for all of us, not just for Jeff and I to
trading
away.
Buddies. Be a buddy.
Yeah, be one of our buddies. Yeah, come on whenever you like. And we will see you then tomorrow if you fancy doing that. So have a great afternoon, guys. Stay safe in the market. It looks a bit odd today, I have to say. Thank you, John. Thank you to you, Jeff. Thank you to Angel. And I will see you all in the morning.
Cheers, Ash. Have a great day, everyone.